Russia just flew a twin-seat stealth fighter, not a trainer, not an export demo. A frontline combat aircraft with 2 cockpits. The second seat isn't for a student pilot, it's for someone whose job is to control drones. This is the Su-57D. Maiden flight, May 19, 2026. And before I tell you what it does, I want to tell you what it admits. Because building this aircraft means Russia looked at the exact same problem the United States already solved with software and said, we need a human in that seat. That is not a design choice, that is a confession. Here is exactly what that means. The aircraft. The base Su-57 has been in Russian service since 2020. Russia's answer to the F-22. Low observable airframe, super maneuverable at high alpha, weapons carried internally to preserve the stealth cross-section. 5th generation across the checklist, on paper. Russia currently operates roughly 42 of them. 42. For a country that has been running combat operations across multiple theaters, that is a remarkably small fleet. We will come back to that number. The Su-57D looks almost identical to the base airframe. Same AL-41 engines, same general shape, same forward fuselage lines. One difference that matters, the rear cockpit. That second seat connects to something specific. The Su-57D is built to fuse data from 5 radar systems simultaneously. Forward-looking, side-looking, rear-facing, and push a unified tactical picture to whoever is sitting in the back.
That person is a Weapons Systems Officer, or WSO. Their job is not to fly the aircraft. Their job is to manage the battle space picture at the speed of combat, in dense electromagnetic environments where data links are being jammed, where satellite bombs are being spoofed, where a ground controller with a 3-second latency lag is a liability. Russia's answer to that problem is put the decision maker in the aircraft. The WSO also has direct control over something Russia has been building quietly for years. Something that weighs 25 tons and does not have a pilot at all. The drone. The S-70 Okhotnik is not a small drone. Flying wing, stealth-shaped. Internal weapons bay, meaning it does not lose its radar cross-section when it's carrying a weapons load. Combat radius in the range of 6,000 kilometers. First flight in 2019, years in development before that. From the beginning, the concept was the same. The Okhotnik goes where a human pilot should not. The Su-57D is the aircraft that leads it there. Here is how the pairing is supposed to work. The Su-57D positions at the edge of the threat envelope. The WSO in the rear seat manages the Okhotnik's sensor feeds, adjusts its flight path, cues its weapons, interprets what the drone is seeing. The pilot handles the fighter. 2 humans. 2 cognitive loads. 1 coordinated strike package. In a world where GPS is being jammed and every dateline frequency is being hunted, Russia is betting that a human operator at altitude inside the aircraft makes faster and more reliable decisions than a controller sitting 1,000 miles away. That is a serious idea. The Soviet Air Force flew 2-seat strike aircraft for exactly this reason. The Su-24, the Tu-22M. 2-crew coordination doctrine in high-threat environments is real, it is tested, and it works. The question is whether it is still the right answer in 2026. Because the United States looked at this exact problem and came to a completely different conclusion. The Doctrine Gap. The F-35 has 1 seat, 1 pilot, 1 cockpit, and it does everything Russia is building 2 seats to accomplish. The distributed aperture system fuses data from 6 electro-optical sensors and delivers 360-degree situational awareness with no dedicated systems officer. The matter date length coordinates targeting between aircraft autonomously. The manned-unmanned teaming architecture currently under development, collaborative combat aircraft, the X-62 work, all of it is built on one assumption. Software handles the cognitive load that a WSO will carry. Russia looked at that same technological horizon and reached a different conclusion. Two explanations, and they are not mutually exclusive. One, Russia's automation and AI maturity simply is not there yet. Given the state of its defense industry since 2022, sanctions, supply chain disruptions, loss of Western components, that is entirely plausible. 2. Russia genuinely believes human judgment at altitude in high jamming environments beats current AI reliability, that the split-second call a trained WSL makes in real geometry is better than what any algorithm delivers today. Maybe both are true. Here is what we know for certain. Russia has 42 Su-57s. The United States has over 450 operational F-35s. Russia is not building mass. Russia is building demonstrations, a proof of concept for where its doctrine is going, not a production fleet ready for sustained operations. And that makes the next part of this story very interesting. Because there is one country watching the Su-57D program very carefully. A country with no stealth fighter of its own. A country whose neighbors, both of them, either have one or are about to. India and the verdict. India walked away from the Su-57 in 2018. The program was called FGFA, Fifth Generation Fighter Aircraft, a joint development between Russia and India, agreed in principle for years. India pulled out because Russia would not share technology. The radar was Russian-controlled. The source code was off the table. India wanted work share and got an export deal dressed as a partnership. India said no. 8 years later, Russia is back, and this time the offer includes full technology transfer. That is not a minor concession. That means radar software, manufacturing licenses, the possibility that India eventually builds its own version of the airframe. Why the change? Because Russia needs foreign revenue. Because India is watching Pakistan acquire the J-35A. Because China's J-20 is operational in Tibet, on India's northern border. Because India's own AMCA, its domestic fifth-generation program, will not be operational before the mid-1930s at the earliest. India currently has a window where it has no stealth fighter and two neighbors who do. The Su-57D fills that window if India decides the offer is real this time. Whether India takes it is a procurement question that involves politics, industrial offsets, and risk tolerance in ways that would take another video. But the fact that Russia is making this offer on these terms tells you something important about how much leverage has shifted since 2018. Here is the bottom line on the Su-57D. Russia built a second cockpit because it could not fully trust the computer. That is either a pragmatic acknowledgement of where its automation technology actually stands, or a deliberate doctrine choice that values human judgment over AI reliability in the most demanding combat environments, possibly both. What it is not is a sign that Russia has given up. A twin-seat strike aircraft that flies coordinated missions with a 25-ton stealth drone is a serious weapon system. A small number of serious weapon systems in the right hands, in the right environment, is not nothing. 42 jets, but they are not ordinary jets anymore. If you want to understand where the next generation of fighter programs is actually headed, the G-cap, the F-47, what comes after the F-35, that is exactly what this channel covers. If you want more content like this, subscribe to Gzily and hit the bell. We cover these programs the way they deserve to be covered. Until next time, clear skies.